So as you can see, now that now that my mother's in the nursing home, right? At least for now. Hopefully it's just temporary. I brought the idea up to the social worker and a nurse there about using probably auditory therapy. Trying to do a little bit more research on it, but 40 hertz. I found that 40 hertz has been used to increase gamma brainwave activity, and that can actually help fight against dementia, or at least keep it from getting worse. Wait, I forgot. What's up, everybody? It's talking to individual CJBK. You already know what it is. So yeah, went to go see my mom. It was interesting though, cause okay, first she started off I went to go see the facility for the first time. It's actually pretty nice. I wouldn't, if something went wrong with me, I wouldn't mind going there. But let me see. Me and my sister, we went to go and get some clothes for a couple of things. Then she went back home because, she came, without her, her brace, her leg brace, and her legs was bothering her. And I try to keep note of her reactions to pain or certain things because, obviously, the gang stalking secret society, they're basically coming after my whole family. They got my cousin. I believe they got my cousin, but I haven't really been over their house to actually check for the unknown carrier towers. They basically got my mother because, as you've seen in previous videos, there was an unknown carrier tower sitting right next to where her bed is. So, then what else? Then next thing you know, one of my cousins was speaking to their mom on the phone, and she said even her mom was sounding, kind of a little odd. So I'm just like, okay. So right now, I have a magnetic hematite. Magnetic hematite, pretty much. Now I'm in light. Magnetic hematite looks like this, right? This is just two of them. So this is magnetic hematite. What I learned from that day, the first time I met their reinforcements, that Wednesday, the 19th, when my mother had her serious, reaction to everything and whatnot. I had gradually built up to realizing that I can place the magnetic hematite on the part of the body for which they are attaching, or everyone is banding together to aim their directed frequencies at whatever that part of the neck muscle is. I haven't really went through my old med books to find the exact name of that muscle. Because remember, every cell in the body has a frequency. Always remember that. Every cell in the body has a frequency. Just like how an opera singer, when they hit a certain tone, they can actually shatter glass with their voice. That's a resonance. Remember that, a resonant frequency. So when they can basically find the exact frequency of that particular cell, and they can amplify, change the amplification of the frequencies that they're directing to, or not just directing, but transmitting to the target, they can cause the cell of that, bone or that muscle or that tissue or that nerve to basically just, you hear that, right? So, that's called sensitization. They use sounds and drops, knocks on the walls, coughing, all kinds of things. It's a tactic to basically break your concentration. Right now, I have like my mind focused. And when I say focus, it's basically a term you would use, like, let's say if you're trying to, let's say you're trying to read something, right? And you're trying to block out sound and you feel kind of like that. It's not like you're scrunching your face focus. It's a particular feeling that you have in your mind where you feel like you're blocking everything else out and you're trying to focus on that one thing. The sensitization is to break your focus, break your concentration, so then there is an opening. There's like, it's literally when you relax your mind and you have that window. That's when whatever frequency, once they have your resonant frequency, they can just continually transmit frequencies into your body. So when they basically make those sounds to basically break your concentration, they can, once they find that opening, they then be able to transmit a frequency, and then your brain will receive it, and you will almost feel it as if like, so like, let me say this, right? I've learned my perps trigger words. They'll say things like, you have no idea, or he got a crush on everybody, or what's another one? I don't know. It's a few of them, right? But I started to pay attention, right? So I started to realize every time, like almost like milliseconds before they finish the last syllable, I can feel, it's almost like a wave of energy, or it's like it literally feels like a wave of energy is coming in, and then as I'm maintaining my concentration or my focus on something, you probably don't even, it's not like, once you get used to it, you're not even really focusing on anything. You just learned how to just, it's like you create a wall. It's almost like you're creating your very own firewall inside of your mind. But I think it just takes practice after a while, because at this point I've learned to be able to control it. Even when I'm trying to like go to sleep, I even go to sleep with a consistent focus, right? But when they say, like, let's say he has no idea, and then by the time he get to ear or dia, you feel the transmission come in, but then it feels like, let's say a tsunami coming in, but it hits a wall, or a wave comes in and it hits against a hard surface, and you feel like that splash, like something is like, that's exactly what it feels like. And then and then I also have, I got my head covered, right? I'm pretty sure people were on the street wondering, what is that on his head? At this point, I'm like, I don't care. If you're not going to want to listen to what I tell you, I'm going to just tell you, I'm just conditioning my hair. That's what I'm going to tell you. So, because I could be like, you really want to know? I mean, I could just tell you I'm conditioning my hair. But, which it kind of is, actually. But basically what it does is, this is actually a fire blanket. The silver, it feels like plastic, but I know it's not plastic. It's a different name for the material. Let me see. And I've been using that to basically try to see if I can, so that now they're using heavier things to drop on the floor. So basically, I said, let me come into another room. So basically, right. So basically, I've been using this to try to cover my head a little bit, and it's been working. I have been using take this off anyway. So yeah, like I said, I was using the magnetic hematite, and the pain that I was feeling, it was starting from the back, let's say between the spine and the right scapula, and it goes all the way up to about the base of the skull, like the very base of the skull. I forgot what the name of that muscle is, but yeah, it's still a bit stiff when I put my head up, but I already know there's about like 5 different towers all surrounding the apartment. You've seen in the video already. So yeah, so let me see what else. So yeah, I've been using this along with the hematite, and I would just place it like just like that and in a straight line. Let me take my coat off. Oh man, I mean, it's one thing when you think about it, and it's like your mom is literally like no longer herself at this point, because you know what they're capable of with the devices that they're using, and I'm pretty sure the whole world is using these devices. It's not just the United States. If you're they're using it in India, they're using it in the UK, they're using it in Australia, they're using it in New Zealand, they're using these devices all over the world. Here in New York City, they're like, oh, we're a secret society. You're not supposed to know about technology, blah, blah, blah. And then the more and more people start to expose themselves because, I don't know, whatever reason, it's like, okay, they can't help themselves but to show their cards. A lot of people can't help themselves but to show their cards. Even though it's supposed to be covert, a lot of people can't help themselves but to show their card. Now you hear how all of a sudden now the noise is, this is my room, this is my bedroom. Now all of a sudden the noise followed into here. Anyway, so, and then the worst part is they're like, he comfortable with snitching on people. And then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, how is it possible that everyone is okay with someone having the ability to read your thoughts, your memories, and then be able to implant thoughts and memories that you never had? So, and not just that, they can also they can basically see through your eyes. They can basically feel what you feel. They, because they basically, once they have your resonant frequency, they are also uploading or extracting the impulses coming from your somatosensory cortex, along with your occipital cortex, your visual cortex, things of that sort. But the one thing the one thing everyone needs to remember is the main target was the pineal gland. First was the heterodyne, just so that they can be able to find your resonant frequency. Then they create the the synthetic telepathy connection. They get that connection to your auditory cortex, so then you can be able to hear them and then they can hear you. But it's like a super ridiculously low frequency that you can't hear through your ear canal. But since it's like a microwave or millimeter wave, it goes through the skull and directly into the auditory cortex. That's why other people can't hear it. But you can record it. You need to use like an infrasound recorder, and then you would need to like place like some type of recording device directly against the skull near the auditory cortex, which is somewhat just above your ear, maybe a little forward, about half an inch to going towards your face. Now, so yeah, it's kind of messed up, man, because it's like what's happening, and you want to, and you pretty much know how to explain it, but people aren't gonna like the people who you care about. They're not going to want to listen to you. Now they'll tell you, even if you get someone who's like at least half the way, to like half to 75% of the way, they'll agree. but they basically don't want to fully understand what you're saying, right? And I mean, you remember, you can only control you. You can't necessarily force anyone to believe anything, right? A person has to take it upon themselves to accept something being told to them. That's why this this gang stalking shit is so successful, because because if one, they use fear and pain they use fear and pain, and also basically uh extortion. They'll use your memories. They'll tell people, oh, we got your secrets, you know and then that in itself is enough to basically flip almost anybody, right? So they'll think, well, there's nothing that they could do because the person is hiding from somewhere, and I don't know where they're coming from. So then they'll say, okay, so in order for you not to basically be on the bad receiving end of what we're doing, we got a position for you to be in, you know. So yeah, pretty much it's social engineering on crack, basically. It's social engineering on crack. Shit, probably it's like crack, crocodile, and K2 all together. You know, so what else? Then and he's like, stop talking about stuff, you know. But anyway, yeah, so for the most part, I'm basically doing what I can to just get as much information out as I can, because I already know they're gonna get very, very impatient soon, because their devices aren't doing as much damage as fast as they would want. So I know they're going to get impatient, and they're going to want to become less covert, and start to move into overt. So I gotta keep pushing this out, because I mean, honestly, none of us know when we're going to die, but I'm pretty certain um if if secret societies can hire somebody to shoot JFK in the head in broad daylight, ain't nobody thinking about a broke black man who came across too much information about technology and stuff. Ain't nobody thinking about me like that. At least outside of the TI community. And from what it seems like, everybody who was basically friends and some family on Facebook. I'm gonna say this: of everything that I post about the technology and radiation, and very, very direct information, I mean, very directly linked information to scientific studies, published case studies, and all kinds of things, no responses, nothing, right? But I'm pretty sure they're reading it. But they don't want to let me know that they're reading it, you know. But it's funny how I mentioned though that my mother went missing for a few hours, but we found her. All of a sudden, that's where all the likes came in at. All the little likes and emotions and stuff like that. So I don't know, but I get it though. I understand. Nobody wants no part of what I'm going through. I get it. I completely understand. I mean, you just gotta take that up with God at some point. Because the thing that I realized is, like, in numbers, they can't hurt all of us at the same time. So and I just think about it, like the people who are probably just working with the gang stalking secret society, most of them are probably just doing it straight out of fear, right? Because I'm like, think about it, who basically wants to be told how to live their life, how to think, what they can and can't say. Like, that's some weird like, you telling me you done live a majority of your life, right? Then all of a sudden here comes somebody that you don't even know, threatening your life, telling you you're gonna do this or else we're gonna do this to you. I mean, I'm like, damn, And then when I think about this one, Bible verse. I don't remember exactly where. I think it's somewhere in Psalms, and it was like God has looked upon the earth, and He's seen that there were none. There were none. What was it? There are none who are good. They have all gone astray. This is basically what it's looking like, because us empowered individuals, we are sorely the minorities in the world. We are sorely the minorities. And when you think about how many people either went along with the gang stalking, those who happily go along with the gang stalking, and those who basically control the gang stalking and electronic harassment, that feels like it's damn near about 70 to 80% of the world. Honestly, you know. But you know what? I've been keeping my eye on the news, not just the TV news. I don't even watch TV news. I find articles online and things like that. There's a lot that's happening in this world and in the galaxy at that. Um, and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I'm not afraid to die, like, because I've already accepted the fact that people die every day. Whether you're a fetus, whether you're a toddler, whether you're a teenager, whether you're a young adult, whether you're a middle-aged adult, whether you're the elderly, people die every single day. People die. It could be one person that died, and matter of fact, somebody probably just died right just now, right? Or it could be a whole mass of people because a building collapse or a fire breaks out, or, and I'm like, me as somebody who generally do not like to cause harm to no one or like to see anyone being inflicted harm. I fight the urge sometimes to want to think to myself, I wonder how many of those people were probably a part of the gang stalking secret society. When you think about certain things, and like, I would like to, I try not to, let my mind go there, because God want me to always be a master of protecting my peace and also pushing peace into the world. Pushing peace. Now I'm using it. But I try to project as much positivity and peace into the world as possible. You know, and their whole intentions is basically to try to destroy my peace and destroy my morality, and basically try to see if they can control me to do what they want me to do. But no, God has pushed me so far to overcome everything that they've done. I was like, yep, I gotta keep going, because if God is pushing me this far, my angel numbers 1212. I've seen those twice. Once was when my mom first came home from the hospital, and she was stuck on Matthew's 12 and just kept rereading it. And I was like, all right, if my mom is stuck on Matthew's 12, I got to remember that. And then I read it, and it's very, very specific to exactly what's happening when you think of gang stalking. Look up Matthew's 12:30 through 32. It literally responds exactly to gang stalking in itself. And then what was it, like last night, or no, not last night, the two mornings ago, when I woke up, I listen to the Bible when I go to sleep. And I woke up, and as I was listening, I consciously woke up, and I'm hearing it playing in, through my headphones. Then all of a sudden I'm hearing it, and I was just like, this sounds very specific to gang stalking. I looked it up. It said Luke 12. So I was like, and I looked up my angel numbers. My angel numbers was basically like, it's like a sign that your guardian angels are watching you. They're telling you to remain confident. Remain confident. You're going to experience some things, but remain diligent. You're going to have to step outside your comfort zone, and this is going to be hell out of my comfort zone. Especially realizing I'm gonna have to, handle all my mother's, buildings and stuff. And my sister says she's going to help me, but at the same time, she still have to take care of herself. I've lived my life in such a minimalist way. The only bill I really have is one credit card and my cell phone bill. Other than that, all my money could go towards taking care of everything else that I need to do in this house, So, um, you know what? I'm actually really glad that I did not make myself so much of the world that, you know, I would have a job that, like for the amount of time that I spent out of work, my job, they're willing to take me back. All I gotta do is bring them a doctor's note, just to prove that, I'm not physically, I'm basically saying I'm physically able to work again. But among other things, you know, um, yeah, I'm just glad I'm not so distracted by everything else that I actually could have the time to devote to caring for my mother. Now, right now, she's not in the right frame of mind. She's basically in a space where, um, she thinks we're controlled by the feds, right? She thinks we're controlled by the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve is basically, they're a part of that pyramid of, people who control, the world and the economy and things of that sort. And then she even said the word, he's controlled by frequencies. Chris will tell you, he's controlled by the Fed. So, little by little, she already knew about stuff like this because she worked with the Feds, the Federal Reserve for like 31 years, I think. And, when she was going through her harassment and everything, sexual harassment, racial discrimination, things of that sort. And then when she had got basically illegally terminated, they began harassing her, especially when she started to pursue her case, pro se, all on her own, won her case at that. And she basically started to, experience her very own version of gang stalking. But this is way back. We talking like 80s, 90s, and like, I think her last day was like somewhere around 2001. Before 9/11, I believe. And interesting. Before 9/11. But yeah, so basically yeah, it's heartbreaking because she's a very strong-minded woman. She's, and she is willing to help anybody, but you got to be willing to help yourself too. She's not going to help you if you're not going to help yourself. She is willing to help anybody, especially if if you are working class, or you live in rough. She was always willing to help anybody. This is why I can't understand, why would you destroy? She's basically history when you think about it. She has overcome so much, but they don't care. They are willing to destroy anybody just to protect their dark room dealings, dark room, dark web dealings, whatever. Anyway, I mean, they could have just took me out of the world. I don't know why they gotta attack everybody else outside of me, but that's just what it is. Anyway, I'm not gonna keep going on this, but yeah, she's okay. When I went to go and see her, me and my sister, we went and got her some clothes and whatnot, and she went back home, and I went to the facility. Um, I went to bring her a bag. The nurse was like, "Someone came to see you," and when she saw it was me, she kind of flipped out. She flipped out at first for like the first like 30 or 40 seconds, but luckily I had my cousin on the phone. So when I had my cousin on the phone, she calmed down a little bit. She ripped the phone out my hand, tried to go into this story about how, like, we don't know the law. She's the law. She knows what's going on, da da da. And for the most part, I mean, at some point she's slowly like she calmed herself down a bit more. And the sad part is I didn't even tell her that my sister and I had bought the water, the snacks, and the clothes for her, because we felt like if we did that, she would try to reject it, So we told her that our cousin, basically got it for her, right? Then, you know, she eventually calmed herself down, and we just taking it slow. We just taking it slow. So I already heard, I thank you to all the other TIs who've told me their stories with their parents, because when as long as I know other people's testimonials and whatnot, I know I'm not alone. And that's what gives me strength, is knowing that I'm not alone. And I'm not the only one this is happening to. So it's just literally just staying calm, because you're not the only one this is happening to, and that TIs end up getting killed eventually. TIs end up getting arrested for some BS crime that they never committed eventually. So it's just like, your best weapon is maintaining your peace at all times. I know it's frustrating, I know it's painful, but at the same time, the one thing you don't want to do is end up trying to build a weapon. Because I remember somebody was like, well, can't we build some type of laser or something that could reflect their frequencies back at them, or antennas? And I was like, well, if they're watching you and they got remote neural monitoring on you, they can basically know what you're doing, and then they can make up some type of cockamamie theory to tell the police officers, who will then do a wellness check, or not a wellness check, but a suspicious activity check, and they'll come knocking on the doors and whatever, and try to see what you're doing, or hell, they'll probably even do something worse, like tell the FBI or the CIA that you building a device. The next thing you know, now you're in the wrong, because you actually made yourself a weapon. Your best thing to do is not to make a weapon, but you record. You record everything. Videos is better. And if you record audios of, especially if you get an infrasound recorder, and you can record the frequency, the frequencies that they're transmitting into your mind. If you record that, get yourself a sound editing app where you can, increase the volume of it, because you have to increase the volume, because it's going to be very, very low when you record it at first. You have to increase the volume tremendously, but reduce the noise. You got to reduce the noise. Try to see if you could tweak the vocal levels of it, and eventually you may be able to record the actual voices. I know some TIs is like, well, I get a robot, or they just say the same thing over and over. That's fine. Set up a camera showing you recording directly to your head, right? Always keep the original audio recording. Then you tweak it, and then you play the original, then you play the edited version right after. And make sure the camera is always recording you, because that way they can't say, well, how do we know you didn't just like throw in some audio some audio clips or something. Remember, you got to become a master at recording evidence, basically. Because when this Havana syndrome stuff blow over, because think about it like this, it's already in the news that they've written off that all those, U.S. officials, they've already written off that it wasn't a foreign enemy that did this. They already written that part off. So you already know what they're about to do next. You can already imagine what they're about to do next. If they already written off foreign entities from using the weapons, you already know they're about to blow this whole shit over eventually. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. They're very confident, but I'm just saying, for the most part, if they're no longer looking at international, possible perpetrators, then where do you think they're going to look? They're going to start looking domestically. So that's what I'm saying, TIs. Become a master of recording your evidence. but also become a master of maintaining your peace or protecting your peace, because the one thing you don't want to be is on their side when they finally decide they want to finally shed some light on the darkness, and then basically because I mean, the government is funding all this. You already know the government is funding all this stuff is just being paid from trickle down money that's coming from way, way, way up top. So at some point they're gonna be like, okay, the experiment was a success. Now we need to dead it. They're gonna come after everybody that's basically, using all this stuff. And the worst part is, they're like the perps around me, they're all focused on me, all their eyes on me, but they have no idea how many of us are out there doing exactly what I'm doing. They're just rather, I guess, disappointed that I'm not following in the same path as they are, or disappointed that, that I'm actually smarter than they thought I was going to be. But, golly, I wish my mother would have just listened to me about healing frequencies, because if I could have just got her to just learn to listen to healing frequencies and use that, but, I respect her decision to just trust in God. So you know what? If, oh man, is it weird to think maybe God is allowing her to go through what she's going through because she wouldn't listen to me? And then now she had to be taken away from me so then I could just focus directly on this. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go and eat. And remember, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Ooh, they got something aimed at my chest. Yeah, it's like right here. I could feel like a magnetic pull. It's like a magnetic. Yeah. It's basically like magnetic energy. It's about, let's see. So literally it starts. So it's basically covering the whole chest, all the way down to probably about, it's starting from up here, then it comes all the way down, and then I feel the blunt of the pressure building up all right, within the sternum, closest to the heart, and then let's do a check real quick. So yeah, you already see that, they move some things around. But that big red triangle, that big Wi-Fi router triangle, that's never been there before. So yeah, but anyway, as I always said, just look, stay diligent, maintain your peace, master recording evidence. All right. And as always, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.